Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Only Your Boss. I work in a specialized profession within a retail environment. The kind where there's a very clear line between what I'm legally authorized to do and what has to be handled by my boss. That said, I serve two important functions. I listen, assess and, if needed, refer customers to my boss. And I fix everything I can, saving people time and sparing my boss from being overwhelmed. So, triage. Simple, efficient, works like a charm. One particular evening, the store was unusually swamped. In my field, that means a line of 7 or 8 customers. That may not sound like much, but when each case can take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, it adds up fast. So we do what we always do. Boss tackles the heavy-duty requests. I sift through the line and sort customers by solvable and send to boss. I'm halfway down the line when I reach him. You know the type. Mid-50s, crossed arms, that I pay your salary look. As soon as I make eye contact, he hits me with, "You can't help me. I need to speak to your boss." No greeting, no explanation, just that. So I respond in my usual pleasant retail voice. "I see. If you'd like to tell me the issue, I might still be able to help." "No, I'll wait." Perfect. My cue to stop trying. I happily move on, helping everyone else in line. Turns out several of them could be helped by me, and they were thrilled to skip the wait. One even thanked me, saying I saved them 20 minutes. Meanwhile, our patient gentleman is still standing there, arms folded, watching everyone else get served ahead of him, because he demanded to speak to my boss and refused to tell me what he needed. Eventually, after 30 minutes, his turn finally comes. He strides up to my boss like he's about to drop some grand, complicated request. She listens, nods, then says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't help with that. It's a legal issue." 1 minute. That's all it took. The man just stared at her, opened his mouth like he was going to say something, then just didn't. You see, his issue was something I could have told him immediately we weren't authorized to do, because it's literally bound by legal regulation. But hey, he wanted to speak to the boss. And I just smiled and helped the next person in line. The next story is called Highest Authority. I work in retail. Nothing unusual on the surface, until you realize my profession deals with products that are tiered by regulation. There are 3 tiers. Tier A, basically free for all. You can find these at corner shops, online, maybe even under your couch. Tier B, mid-level. Only my boss is authorized to supply them, unless I call HQ to confirm and log it. Tier C, the big leagues. These require proper documentation and my boss to be physically present. No boss, no product, no exceptions. On this particularly charming day, my boss is away. All day. I'm flying solo on anything above Tier A, which means every Tier B product needs a phone call to HQ. Great fun. Meanwhile, my colleagues are wisely sticking to their Tier A stuff like their lives depend on it. Enter entitled lady. She struts in and asks for a Tier C product. I explain gently, "Sorry, I can't supply that today. My boss isn't in." And like clockwork, "But I always get it here." "Sure, but only when my boss is around. Tier C products require higher authorization." She looks over and spots our Tier B stock. "Well, then how come you are selling those?" "Because I'm calling HQ every single time, and they are Tier B. What you want is Tier C. Different rules. And here's where the gears really start grinding. Then take me to the highest authority in the store. They are always behind that counter." She gestures dramatically to where my boss usually works. Now, you and I both know how this ends, but she doesn't. So I smile, the customer service smile that hides all my exhaustion, and just a dash of spite. "Sure, madam. I'll take you to the highest authority in the store." We walk over together. I step behind the counter with the solemn energy of a royal official assuming the throne. "Hello, madam. I'm the highest authority in the store right now. My boss is away." Unfortunately, I still cannot sell you what you want. You're welcome to come back tomorrow when she's back. She just stands there, brain clearly rebooting. Realization dawns. Frustration follows. She huffs and storms off. Never came back. Not even the next day. I told my boss the next morning. She laughed harder than I've seen in weeks. The third story is called Only a Man. So, I worked in a mid-sized hardware store. The kind of place where you learn by doing, and where the staff actually knows their stuff. Before this gig, I spent 15 years in construction, and by this point, I'd been working here for another 10 years. Safe to say, I could probably build a small shed, with my eyes closed and one hand tied behind my back. One day, I'm at the back counter doing paperwork. Also behind the counter is Bonnie. Bonnie is sharp, like wickedly sharp. She knows her stuff. Customers love her, and she's one of the best salespeople we have. She's forgotten more about plumbing parts than most weekend warriors will ever know. Cue Mr. Misogyny, an older gentleman with a chip on his shoulder, and sawdust where the common sense should be. He walks up to the counter, and Bonnie, being the professional she is, greets him. "Hi there, what can I help you with today?" Without missing a beat, he hits her with, "No, I need a man that knows what he's doing." I freeze mid-paperwork. Bonnie looks like she's about to spontaneously combust from pure rage. But she just turns to me, eyes narrowed. "Hey, want to take this one?" "Absolutely." This is where I let my inner chaos goblin out. I walk over, full of forced sincerity. "Of course, sir. What seems to be the issue?" He explains the problem. I nod thoughtfully, then, without breaking eye contact, I turn around, walk to Bonnie, and repeat the problem to her. She gives me the answer, calm and collected. I turn back to the guy and recite her words verbatim. He asks another question. Same process. This goes on for the entire interaction. Now, I knew the answers. Every last one. But hey, the guy didn't want help from a woman, right? I'm just here to deliver the expert advice. With a slight delay, and reroute through the exact person he dismissed. Eventually he finishes his little Q&A session, none the wiser, and shuffles off with his mana-proofed knowledge, presumably to glue something backward or strip a screw. Bonnie smirking like the queen she is. The last story is called Pick Your Design. I used to work at a small online retail company. Decent job, small team. The kind of place where everyone wears a dozen hats and pretends to like each other because synergy. I was there for about 10 years, but this story happens around the 6-year mark. One day, the owners decide it's time to reward those of us who had stuck around for over 2 years. Now, you might be thinking, a bonus check? Some extra PTO? Maybe a pizza party with real pizza this time? We were going to be immortalized as custom bobbleheads. Fully customized, down to outfits, accessories, hairstyles. The whole Uncanny Valley nightmare package. These things weren't cheap either. 100 to 150 a pop. Easy. But actual cash bonuses for the people who built the company perished the thought. They sent out a form so we could submit reference photos and pick our design. While most of my co-workers shrugged and went along with it, free creepy desk trinket I guess, I did not. I just didn't fill it out. Eventually one of the owners chased me down about it. "Hey, we need your bobblehead form back." I told them politely-ish, honestly, I'd rather just have the $100. Apparently that was offensive. "No, this isn't optional. Everyone's getting a bobblehead. Pick your design." Well, alrighty then. I scoured every design option available. If I was being forced into getting a caricature of myself, nodding forever in silent disappointment, I was going to make it count. I picked the most expensive design they offered. A hyper-detailed standing style wheelchair model with a ton of customization. No idea why it cost so much more. Maybe the base, maybe the detailed work. But my model clocked in just shy of $250. They never said a word. Just nodded and paid the invoice. Fast forward a few years. They let me go to hire someone cheaper to do my job. Real classy move. I took my bobblehead home, stared it down for a second, and then smashed its smug little plastic head into oblivion. Felt amazing. Probably more satisfying than a real bonus would have been, to be honest. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.